Hi guys, don't mind my frizzy hair. I want to talk to you guys. So I'm looking at Timeless Trends website, and don't get mad at me, Orchard Corset's website. I looked at every single corset on Mystic City Corset, and I'm sorry, but there's nothing. I don't want hip ties and I don't want mesh. These two things, I'm just like, I'm not gonna, like if the corset has that and it has my measurements, I'm just not gonna move forward if it's mesh or it has hip ties. So I'm just being really picky, right? So I found a corset on Orchard Corset, and let me just show you. But before I show you the corset that I wanted to show you something on Timeless Trends website. Remember when I told you that I was recommended a size 24 and it was the black cashmere, it was this corset, right? The short torso corset, okay, in size 24. That was what was recommended to me. Why was it recommended to me? Look at the underbust springs and the hip springs. Now look at my measurements. My underbust is between 36 and 36 and a half, and my upper hip tight is a 35 to 37, loose 37 and a half to 38 inches. So I have no idea why this corset was recommended to me. Again, I'm going to blame myself because I maybe gave them the wrong measurements, or maybe I only gave them like my natural waist measurement and the front panel measurement, you know, like the length, my torso length. That's why they recommended this corset to me. So I just wanted to show you guys, like, this is the reason that this corset will never close, is because it just doesn't fit my body. Like, it's closed. This should fit someone who has an underbust of between 28 and 30 and hips of 31 to 33. So yeah, it's nobody's fault. If you want to blame anybody, blame me. Anyways, let's get into the corset that I am really excited that I found. Before I do that, again, I'm going to show you guys on, so let me show you. It is, can I waist train in that corset? Lucy Corsetry, okay? Now let me go to the corset that I am talking to you guys about. So it is the Orchard Corset CS 201. So she says, yes, you can waist train in it for cotton, not for mesh, which, okay, cool, I don't want mesh. 30-day exchange return, 1-year guarantee has been revoked as a 2014 responsive customer service. Interesting, okay. There was a popped steel bones reported. Opt for all cotton fashion fabric, stronger structure, mesh corsets wear down quickly. And the moderate is the curviness. So this was like style brand, waist training friendly, the guarantee policy, construction concerns, and then the curviness. So, and then it was yes, and then, you know, all the rest. Okay, let me show you the corset. Okay, so it is the satin hourglass curve waspy underbust corset, CS 201. And as we can recall, she says yes. And before anyone says no, Lucy was talking about the CS 201 non-waspy. So, you know, regular. All of the CS 201s are waspies. So do with that what you will. Now, let me talk to you guys about a couple of things. First and foremost, I would obviously get pink. So you see how this corset has like a little, what do you want to call this? A V down here. I really like that because that's good for tummy control in my opinion. So now let's keep going down to here, specifications. So it's for short to average torso length, 8-inch rib spring and 10-inch hip spring. And if you want to go back here, corset that I currently have is a 4-inch rib spring and a 7-inch hip spring. This one obviously is going to be a lot better for my, you know, current measurements, which I will put right here so we can see. Okay, and then we have the dimensions. Front is 9.5. My current corset is 8.5 in the front. And then the back, honestly, I really don't care. Then the side is 7.25. The side on this one was 6.5. So a little less than an inch longer, but a whole inch longer for the fronts, which I like. And so the reason why I wanted just a little bit more of a front panel, just a little longer, not like completely longer, is because I sit for the majority of my day on the computer or on my phone and, you know, just doing things sitting down. I'm not usually standing up. Sitting down, let me show you my measurements again, but I literally just did this like 30 minutes ago for the 927th time. Okay, let's go through these. So we have the underbust, we remember, waist, we remember. So upper hip, I took the waist tape super tight, and it was between this. And the reason why it's a 2-inch one is because I was sticking my stomach crazily to make it 35, and then I let it go a little bit for 37, and then just leaving it naturally, like supernaturally loose, is between a 37.5 and 38. So it's about a 3-inch difference if I like lose 3 inches off of my lower tummy. The lower hip, again, same thing. It was to make it super tight, 38.5, and then loose, it was 40 inches. So again, if I lose, you know, a couple of inches, it'll be this number and this number. So, and then when I lost a bunch of weight last year, or the year before, whatever, my underbust had gone down to, I think, a 34 or 35. Now, length seated, this is underbust to my lap. It was 10 inches to 10.5 inches. Sorry if the camera is shaking so much. I don't know why I'm so shaky right now. And then length standing up from the underbust to the lap was, why did I write 8.5 inches? Okay, I measured correctly. I just wrote down the wrong thing. It wasn't 8.5 inches. Standing up, it was 11 to 11.5. I wrote that down because I got mistaken with this number. Going back to this corset, so the front is 9.5 inches. So if I'm sitting down, it will not be touching my lap, which I really like because, again, I'll be sitting down all day. And then when I'm standing up, yes, it's going to give me like a bit of a pooch. But at this point, like I said, I'm sitting down for the majority of the day. So I would rather be, you know, comfortable sitting down in my corset. Okay, so let's talk about the rib spring and the hip spring. So rib spring is 8 inches, hip spring is 10 inches. So let's say I get a 24-inch corset. So 24-inch corset plus 8-inch rib spring is 32. So this would be too small on my ribs. So let's go with a 26-inch corset plus 8-inch rib spring. 34. That would still be a little too small. Let's go with a 28-inch corset plus 8 inches, 36. Oh my goodness, that is perfect. My current waist is a 30-inch, so getting a 28-inch corset will, I don't know, make me feel better. It won't be super tight, but at the same time, it'll be fitting me a little bit better. And I mean, why do I want to get a 24-inch corset? I'll tell you why I want to get a 24-inch corset, because I envision myself to having a 24-inch waist. But right now, I gotta just think of like small baby steps. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I started a 30-inch. Let me get back down to a 28-inch waist, which is what I was currently at like 2 years ago. And then we will move from there. That's why I'm thinking about a 28-inch corset. Let's continue. So then we have the 28-inch corset plus 10-inch hip spring. So plus 10 inches. Well, what do you know? Upper hip is 38. So this is loose too. So it's not like it's going to be extremely tight on my ribs or my hips. It's going to be, when the corset is completely closed, the underbust will be 36. The waist will be 28 inside the corset, of course, not outside of the corset. And the hips will be 38 inches. So I feel like this is going to fit my body really great. Like, I'm not even kidding. And then like we already talked about the length being, you know, half an inch shorter than touching my lap. Like, it's not going to touch my lap. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I know everybody always, you know, has something to say about Orchard Corset. Most of my corsets are from Orchard Corset, and I've always said I'm never going to get another corset from Orchard Corset again because they always like pop. The boning always pops out. But like, let's stop for a second and say maybe it's not Orchard Corset's fault. Maybe it's my fault. I'll just blame myself. Maybe it's my fault that I'm getting the wrong size and I'm putting so much tension on the corset that the boning pops. How about that? I think we're gonna go with that. And let's see, 28-inch Get $15 off. Of course, I want to get $15 off. Well, how much is it right now to begin with? $85. So it'd be $70 plus tax. I wish I could have gotten a Mystic City corset because I know everybody always talks about Mystic City and everybody always wants me to get Mystic City, but nothing fit my measurements. And if it did fit my measurements, it was either with hip ties or was mesh or out of stock in my size. I think I'm gonna get this corset. Let me know what you guys have to say in the comments. I'll probably do whatever I want regardless, but I do love to know your guys' opinions because there are so many times where I don't think of something and then I see a comment and I'm like, oh my God, like, thank you. I love you. Mwah. Bye.